Hello students, welcome to our class. Today we are going to discuss about the process of DNA replication. So what is replication? So replication means copies. In the process of DNA replication, the DNA, which is our genetic material which cause the genetic information to transfer in the one generation to another, this is the genetic material. So this genetic material get copied itself. So it is called DNA replication, means DNA is making its own copies. So that is called DNA replication. So this DNA replication has variable progressive methods, has variable progressive types in every organism. So we will start with the types of the replication. So the DNA replication means copying of DNA. Okay, means suppose this is DNA, this makes its own copies, and this is called DNA replication. And we know the full form of DNA, it is called deoxyribose nucleic acid. Means it is a nucleic acid. Yes, because it is present inside the nucleus of the cell. Obviously it has an acidic nature due to the presence of group P H3PO4, that is phosphoric acid, and it contains the deoxyribose sugar in it, and this whole molecule is called as the DNA, which causes the phenomenon of inheritance, that cause the genetic information to transfer from one generation to the next. So this is the genetic material. Now this genetic material, during the course of inheritance, during the process of inheritance, this DNA get copied. So this copied DNA goes into the daughter cells to give the genetic characters to its new one or new daughter cells. So this is DNA replication. So this DNA replication occurs in different phases. So that phases are denoted as the types. So now we will see the types of the DNA replication. Okay, so this is the first type of DNA replication, that is conservative type of DNA replication. So in this type, this is DNA, this is parental DNA. This starts to replicate. Once it starts to replicate, it shows unwinding and form the Y-shaped fork structure. So this is Y-shaped fork structure. So it forms two DNAs. So one is completely parental one and another is the new one. Means one DNA is completely parental and second DNA is completely new. So this is called the conservative type of replication, means parent is more conserved. It is more conserved and it shows it's a complete character, it's 100% existence in the further generation by complete DNA strand of its own character, and complete new strand is formed due to this replication. Means each DNA makes two successive copies of its DNA. Here first copy parental completely and here the second copy is new one. So this is called conservative type of the replication. We will go toward the second type of the DNA replication, that is called dispersive type. So in this dispersive type, suppose this is parental DNA. So this starts to replicate by forming replication fork. Okay, so this is the replication fork, and after that it forms the like this dispersive structure. Means half strand structure, half fragments are parental and half fragments are newly synthesized DNA in this way. Okay, so this is called the dispersive type of DNA replication. So it takes place in these disper types. So one end is new and one end is another end is old. So this is called dispersive type of the replication, where a strand is not completely new and a DNA strand is not completely parental. It is dispersed in form, means new and old fragments are dispersed in the structure, and that structure constitutes a single DNA molecule which having the new and old strands as a dispersed mechanism. So this is called the dispersive type of replication. So we will move toward the third type of the DNA replication. The third type of the DNA replication is called semi-conservative type of DNA replication. So mostly in the nature, the semi-conservative type of replication is occur. Dispersive and conservative type of replications are very rare in the progression. So always there is progression by this method, that is semi-conservative type of replication in an organism. So how this semi-conservative type of replication takes place, that we will see. So in semi-conservative type of replication, this is a DNA molecule, this is parental DNA molecule. When it will replicate, it will form the two copies. So this is the replication form of the parental DNA molecule. So when it starts to form the copies, so in this case, these DNA strands, these strands remains together. So how this get coiled? So these fragments undergoes coil. Okay, these fragments undergoes coiling, parental fragments, and a new strand get coiled with this. Okay, so how this DNA molecules form? So this is the DNA molecules which have the first DNA molecule, this is second DNA molecule, this is parent DNA. So when it gets replicate, after the replication, here the process of replication takes place, and after the replication it forms two daughter DNA molecule, and in this daughter DNA molecule one blue strand, that means it is parental one, and one red strand means it is a new one. So in each molecule there will be one parental DNA strand and another there is only single new DNA strand. And this causes the formation of double-stranded DNA molecule, which is the result of the semi-conservative type of replication. That's why it shows the single strand as a blue one, which is parental, and red strand as a new one, which is newly synthesized strand in the daughter cells. So this is called semi-conservative type of replication. Means this DNA shows 50% characters of the parent and 50% character of the new generation or daughter generations and newly synthesized generation. So this is called semi-conservative type of DNA replication. Hence, there is variation in some amount because the 50% part is newly synthesized in the daughter cells. So that's why the variations are caused during the process of inheritance due to this phenomenon, means due to the semi-conservative type of DNA replication. Now we will go into detailed study of the semi-conservative type of DNA replication and how the DNA replication occurs in both organisms, that is prokaryotic one and eukaryotic one. As we know that DNA replication includes the copying of DNA. So DNA means deoxyribonucleic acid. It is present in the nucleus. So this whole replication process is during the cell cycle. So this whole replication process is taken place during the S phase of the cell cycle. So it is in the nucleus of the cell. So now we will go toward the process. So in prokaryotes, the DNA replication has circular type. Okay, we know that the prokaryotic DNA is circular type, so there is replication in the theta form. Okay, like this. So there is type of replication that is called theta replication in the prokaryotes. But in eukaryotes, there is a DNA which is straight type, like that, double-stranded helical structure. So this DNA shows the Y replication fork due to the unwinding of its strand, and each strand synthesizes a new DNA in a semi-conservative manner. Sorry, the second is with the red color, so this is the new strand. So hence this type of replications are divided into two types. First is theta replication in prokaryotes, and another is semi-conservative linear type of replication in the eukaryotes. So in eukaryotes there is strictly linear type of replication takes place. So we will see the DNA replication process in detail with the step-by-step and complete mechanism. So now we are going towards the mechanism of the DNA replication. So step by step we will discuss about its mechanism. So the first phase in the process of DNA replication is activation of nucleotides. So activation of nucleotides is the first phase in the DNA replication. So nucleotides are present in the nucleoplasm. Obviously the process of DNA replication is taking place inside the nucleus. So nucleotides are always present in the nucleoplasm, but these nucleotides are in the monophosphate form. That means these are like that, DAMP, that is D adenosine monophosphate, DCMP, cytosine monophosphate, DGMP, guanosine monophosphate, and DTMP, thymine monophosphate. So these are the inactive forms of the nucleotides. Now these nucleotides get added with the ATP with the help of enzyme phosphorylase. So these add the phosphate group into the inactive monophosphate group. So now this mono group means single phosphate is present in the inactivated form. So this get added with the triphosphate, means 3 phosphate are added. So what it will form? It will give rise to ATP plus AMP. That means it forms the AMP as a byproduct, it's a remnant. Okay, so it forms the AMP as it's a remnant, but it is in inactive form, so it will remain into the nucleoplasm. But when it forms the ATP as a triphosphate group, it is activated one, and it will help in the construction of the DNA. In this way, all these groups are converted into triphosphate by the enzyme phosphorylase and addition of ATP. So these become the activated nucleotides that are ready to form our DNA. So now these all nucleotides are perfectly activated. Now we will move toward the second step of the DNA replication. Second phase is to find the origin of replication. So it is easy in prokaryotes to find the origin of replication, as there is only single origin of replication due to the circular form of the DNA. But in eukaryote there is difficulty in finding the origin of replication because of its linear shape, and it contains the many origins of replication. So it is some kind of difficulty condition in the eukaryotes, as there is linear DNA which have the many origins of the replication. So once we find the origin of replication, suppose this is parental DNA molecule, we find the origin of replication here. So this point is nicked or gets seized. Okay, so it becomes nicked or cut due to the incision is taken place due to the enzyme that is called endonuclease. So it brings about the breakdown of the hydrogen bonds. Okay, so this breaks down the hydrogen bond present in between the two nucleotides for attachment, and that's why it called the nicked incision with the help of enzyme endonucleases. So in this way, this nicked end is cutted, but this cutting is not called the separation. The strands are not separated. These strands required an enzyme that is called DNA helicase. So this enzyme will cause the unwinding and unzipping of the DNA strand. So here there is action of DNA helicase which cause the unwinding of the DNA strand. So this strand gets unwind. In this way, we have occurred or Y-shaped replication form in this step. In the third step, that is unwinding of the DNA strands. In this step, we have achieved to the Y-shaped replication form, which will form the two daughter DNA molecule on itself. So now we will learn about the complete process of DNA replication with the help of diagram in the easy step. So this is the one strand, this is the second strand. Okay, so this is the Y-shaped fork. So this is called 3' end. This is the 3' end of this strand. This is 5' end. This is the 5' end of the first strand. So one strand runs from 3' to 5' and another from 5' to 3'. That is called antiparallel strands of the DNA. So how this replication start, that we will see. So here actually we have seen the activities of 3 enzymes. That is, first is polymerase, second endonuclease which cause the nicked ends and incision or cuts, and after that we have seen the use of the DNA helicase that cause the unwinding. So here we have 3 enzymes that we have already applied on this strand for its unwinding. So for unwinding we have applied DNA helicase. It is also called as a rep protein, okay, because it called the unwinding of the DNA strand. So it is called rep protein. After that we have used the endonuclease for the cutting of the hydrogen bonds in the DNA strands for the separation, obviously. And after that, when we will talk about the DNA helicase, it calls the unwinding of the strands. So here the DNA helicase is helping us to unwind the DNA strand and to make it separated from each other and to avoid the coiling again. So this helicase helps to separate or unwind the DNA strands, and this separation is strictly maintained by the SSBP proteins. So the SSBP proteins are added on the respective strands, and the function of SSBP protein to make these strands separate from each other. So this is called SSBP protein, that is single stranded binding protein. So it makes the strand as a single stranded structure and it is a binding protein. So this protein makes the strands separate from each other. So suppose here there is SSBP protein from left side and here SSBP protein from the right side. So when you will take any rubber, stretchable rubber in your hand, you are stretching it from left side, you are stretching it from right side. What will happen? It will break at the certain point, and what will happen? It will cause the damage of the thing. So it will damage that thing. So when the SSBP proteins are added on the respective strand, it cause the stretching of that strands, and one time will come, the strand will get breakdown. So when this strand will break down, we will not get the copies of our desired DNA. So there will be no process. So there will be no process of replication. So what to do? We must add the enzyme that is called topoisomerase. It is very interesting enzyme. It releases all the tension created due to the SSBP protein on the DNA strands. It releases all tensions, and what it does, for example, it is a DNA strand. It gets so much densely coiled. Okay, it gets so much densely coiled, and what it is, so it gets so much densely coiled, and that's why it can cause the damage. So topoisomerase get attached and it causes the strands to attach loosely. So it will never break down. It will remain as in condition to make its copies. So topoisomerase enzyme release the tension created due to the action of SSBP protein on respective strands. So this is the function of enzyme topoisomerase. It is also called as a DNA gyrase. Okay, so topoisomerase is also called as the DNA gyrase. It can be asked in the NEET exam. So after the activity of DNA helicase, there is unwinding process. After the activity of SSP protein, there is complete separation of the strands, and after the topoisomerase, there is release of tension occur on the strand. So these enzymes make a DNA strand as a perfectly matured parent DNA to complete its copying. So after the activity of all these enzymes, there is occurrence of DNA primer which did attach to the 3' end of the DNA strand. So it get attached to the unwind strand that is at the 3' end. So here we can find the 3' end. So this DNA primer, so this RNA primer get attached here. Okay, but on this strand there is no 3' end. The 3' end is here. So why this RNA primer will attach here? No, it want to construct the new strand here only, because here is single stranded structure, here is already double stranded structure is present. So it will never form the 3' end here. So it will get attached at the random positions like this. It is getting randomly arranged. Okay, so in this way the RNA primer is added on the both sides. But this RNA primer not called the complete construction of the new strand. It requires the another enzyme for its complete construction. It is just a primer structure. When you will paint your house, you will add a primer first, then you will color it. So why? You give the base to fix the color. So the color is remain here. For the primary construction, the primers are added, but this will not add the nucleotide bases completely to form the complete new strand. So the primer is added to the 3' end here, and after that there is action of DNA polymerase. Okay, so this is DNA polymerase, which will take the nucleotides, that activated nucleotides. Remember, in nucleoplasm we have the activated nucleotide due to the action of phosphorylase. So it will receive that nucleotides from the nucleoplasm and will add in the strand. So here the strand will construct in a continuous manner. Okay, so the construction of strand on this primer, that is 3' to 5', it is continuous manner. So that's why it is called as the leading strand. Leading means it will construct at first, then it will construct at second. So that's why it is called as the leading strand, which have the continuous construction due to the 3' end. And after that, the DNA polymerase get added into the shorter fragments. Okay, so this strand contains the many. So this strand showing the discontinuity. So this is called discontinuous strand, and also called as the lagging strand. So it is a discontinuous one, lagging strand, because it is constructed after the leading strand, after the construction of the leading strand. So this is called lagging strand. So here you can see the leading strand is constructed continuously while the lagging strand is constructed in short fragments like this. So these fragments are nothing but Okazaki fragments. Okay, so these are called Okazaki fragments, and these fragments are afterwards get joined with the enzyme that is DNA ligase, and this becomes a complete strand now after the activity of enzyme DNA ligase. So in this way we have the two new strands with old strands in a semi-conservative manner. Means here these strands, that means the parental strands are called as the template. So this is leading template, this is lagging template. These are the old strand. Template means old strands, and these strands, that means leading strand and lagging strand, these are called as the new strands. And now after the activity of DNA ligase, these both strands get undercoiling and cause the formation of two daughter DNA molecules from the single DNA molecule. That is, one parental DNA molecule will form two daughter DNA molecules. One parental DNA molecule will form two daughter DNA molecule. It will get separated. One new strand, another old strand, that is blue strand. So in this form we have got the two replicas, two copies from the parent DNA molecule by the process of semi-conservative type of DNA replication. Means one parental strand is there and one new strand is there in each DNA molecule, which is the resultant of the parental DNA molecule. So in this way the DNA replication is completed.